Thank you everyone for sticking to time. The next speaker is Professor Raj Nehru, Vice Chancellor of Vishwakarma Skill Development University.
Namaskar, dignitaries on the dais and respected dignitaries and academicians in the audience. As far as the national education policy is concerned and the targets that we have in the national education policy, envisaging 50% of GER for higher education and 50% of GER for skill-based education, where on skill education we are roughly around 7% or 8%, for higher education we are around 27-28%. It's a huge and daunting task in front of us. So as far as the skill education is concerned, today one of the biggest drivers that I find, besides what we have been talking in the last couple of days, which is also important, I think recognition of prior learning is one of the big game-changing initiative that every institution must look at it. Today, if you look at the GER in higher education, we calculate it at 18 to 23 years of age. More than 140 million are the population in this age group. 35 million are enrolled in education if we go by the 27-28%. Where are the 105 million people today? That studies say that more than 50% of this 105 million are eligible. They are 12th pass or equivalent, but they are not in higher education. They have entered into the labor market. They are working for various organizations, uncertified, unqualified. This is a huge opportunity for India because most of these youngsters who work for the organizations, their ideas and talent gets trampled because they don't have qualification to move up in the organization. Shri Vishwakarma Skill University has started recognition of prior learning in higher education. We are working on pilot projects with some organizations where most of the qualifications that we have created in the university are getting mapped to some of the job roles in the industry. And through that process, what we do, we assess these youngsters who are working in the industries for long years, but without any qualification. So what we do, we assess them, and based on the assessment, we exempt them for some of the work that they have already done, which gets mapped with the qualifications, and then enroll them through a bridge program so that they can complete their higher education. This is a game-changing initiative, let me tell you, my friends, because once these people move up in the organization with higher qualification, which these organizations want to accept, they will actually be very ideative. They can create more opportunities in the organization. They can create more innovations in the organization. And eventually, when they will grow in the organization through those certifications, they can create more opportunities on the ground for newcomers to come and join the organization. So I think every university, every educational institution must focus on recognition of prior learning in higher education. It will help you in multiple ways. You see, when you have experienced people coming to your organization and mixing up with the youngsters already studying in the institution, you will have a mix, a diffusion of experience with the youngsters. It will create a mentoring mix inside your organization because these experienced people will actually enable your youngsters in the campus, and your youngsters in the campus can do reverse mentoring with them. And with that classical model, you can have innovation inside the campus. You can have industry people coming and mingling up and forcing your faculties to train them in a different way because they need a different type of pedagogy when they are to be trained. And eventually, it can create more opportunities for startups. So I again emphasize recognition of prior learning in higher education is very, very important. Besides this, flexible entry and exit has to be thought in mind with the perspective that every exit level must be mapped with some qualification. Unless exit levels are mapped with qualifications, the exit and entry, the flexible entry and exit will become meaningless. The third important thing is bringing the industry to your institution. And the last one is providing an integrated model of learning where from class 9th onwards, we are tying up with the technical education, higher education, industrial training department, and other institutions where integrated education for skilling is provided to the students. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
जन से अनुरोध है कि अपने छोटे प्रश्नों को पूछें और एक व्यक्ति सिर्फ एक प्रश्न को पूछे।
जी नमस्कार, मैं शिव त्रिपाठी, आत्मीय विश्वविद्यालय राजकोट। द क्वेश्चन इज टू श्री राज नेहरू जी. You mentioned about recognition of prior learning. Just I would like to learn that whether you would recommend it only for BWOC or MWOC program, or do you think that RPL can be created across the different qualifications that we offer?
Thank you, sir.
See, currently we have started experimenting it with the BVOC and MVOC qualifications, but I don't see any challenge for this program getting extended to any program. Why in BVOC we started with? Because in BVOC we have integrated qualifications, and these qualifications are progressive in nature in an hierarchical model that we have integrated, and based on the proficiency levels and industry agreeing to those proficiency levels for those qualifications, we have picked up BVOC. So 60, and the second important part is 60-40% ratio, where 60% is on-the-job training, the experience, and all those aspects, workshops, and 40% is theory. So that gives us a flexibility of picking and starting up with the BVOC. But if you ask me, there is no challenge that can even come for the non-BVOC programs as well.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
There was a question there. Yeah. Next year.
Sir, आपका-
Yeah, this is Dr. A.K. Tyagi from
one second.
Kashi Vidyapeeth.
Just one-
Yeah, in fact, we are deliberating on the technical skills at length, and arrangements have been made. But I still feel that the traditional Indian skills, that is somehow been forgotten. We have a very good heritage of traditional skills. That emphasis should also be there, and we should have a strategy to monitor the development, to monitor and evaluate the competencies there also. These are, very beneficial in the sense that we hardly need any capital investment, and they are there on the blood of Indian already. So we need not to even popularize them. The
If
only
you're
thing
talk-
is
if you're
that we have to
talking
give
of
emphasis
yoga-
to them.
See, if you're talking of yoga and consciousness, okay.
No,
these
not,
is-
not only this, even
No, I'm
the,
coming to that more traditional, but I'm talking to your third phase, which NEP has not covered, which is about the consciousness and spirituality, which can be non-denomination, irrespective of the religion. Those skill sets can also be nurtured, and they can be nurtured really well.
yes, sir, this is there, but even pottery, dance, culture, and all these things are also there. There should be a strategy to evaluate the competencies in those skills also. That is missing.
सर कृपया एक ही प्रश्न
Please go ahead.
ये हेरिटेज जो सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल है, ये बहुत काम करती है इसके ऊपर। और हेरिटेज के ऊपर हम लोग जो मास्टर्स है, पुराने क्राफ्टमैन हैं, उनको हम लेकर के आते हैं, उनका आरपीएल करते हैं, उनका आरपीएल करके और वो उनसे क्वालिफिकेशंस फिर बनवाते हैं, और ये बहुत अच्छा काम हो रहा है। अभी हमने एक और नया इनिशिएटिव शुरू करने की हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि जो कोई अवार्ड विनर है, हमारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो बिल्कुल ही अनपढ़ हैं, ऐसे गुरुओं को ढूंढ करके और उनको आरपीएल करके एक दर्जा दे करके उनके द्वारा जो भी स्टूडेंट को वो सर्टिफाई कर दें, उसको हम एनएसक्यूएफ लेवल की स्किल सर्टिफिकेट उसको दे दें। तो इसके पीछे हम लोग लगे हुए हैं और बहुत सारी स्किल्स अवेलेबल हैं। आप एनसीवीटी वेबसाइट पर जाइए, इसको बिल्कुल इग्नोर नहीं किया जा रहा।
I just want to add just one
कृपया हम लोग
Sir,
क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन को
I'll just add one point to it. In Haryana, Shri Vishwakarma Skill University has developed a scheme called Guru Shishya Parampara for Government of Haryana, which has been announced just 2 weeks back. In this scheme, in Haryana, the target is to recognize the existing gurus, means experienced people, artisans, and through a process of recognition of prior learning, we will certify them. After certification, out of those certified pool, we will identify some artisans or some experts and make them teachers and mentors. And then through a portal, Parivar Pehchan Patra, we will identify youngsters who are 8th pass, 10th pass, who have interest in doing or learning that skill. We will map those to youngsters with those mentors and run this Guru Shishya Parampara. Through this process, apprenticeship and RPL both are getting integrated and providing opportunity of learning and preserving traditional skills in the state.
Thank you, sir.